There are other different types of dementia, and depending upon where the difficulties lie, that in the illness determines the course of treatment.
You can. All you have to do is want to do it.
Yes.
Want to be it.
When you set your mind to it, and this is who you are, and
the grown men. We have the youth that we need to mentor, and we need to inspire, and we need to motivate. But I know, as a recent conversation between you and I, that you're also in the business of motivating grown men. Through that, I'm supposed to see God in it at every turn. So me going to the Sea of Galilee was to remind me of that, to refresh myself of that. It is all under control, that He does have it. It's just as clear as that fresh water that I saw.
You're Our Unity, hosted by LeShawn Walker, Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. PST.
Welcome, everyone, to You're Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to be a helping hand to others. I want you to shine your marvelous light upon everyone so bright that it is blinding. I am your host, LeShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. I hope you guys had a wonderful couple of days, actually a wonderful week since I last saw you. I hope you also started on your journey to uncovering the best of you for 2023. I took some advice from my guest last week, Jacqueline Kernan, and I started on that path. I have begun, and I will tell you that I'm actually really thrilled and excited about what is in store. I've taken some time to do, some meditation a little longer. I've been praying, and I've been praying with more substance and more meaning. I've been praying with a deeper sense of self and what I'm actually looking for with expectation. And that was very, very warming to me because I felt like I was getting a little closer to God, actually. And then, little steps every single day. I'm trying to write into my journal a little bit more. I did take the time on Sunday to do so, and I kind of poured into it, everything that I've been experiencing the last few months, as I mentioned to you guys. But my journey into 2023 is definitely beginning on a good foot. So I hope you guys did the same. It is wonderful for you to start things, begin them, and then have hope and expectation for a great, successful end. Now, when I went to church on New Year's Eve, the message just resonated with me so much. It was so poignant and actually profound. I'm so glad that I was able to make the midnight service because I needed a little extra energy, just poured into me, and just a little bit more of the word of God. And one of these young men that attended the service got up and spoke about what his testimony is and what he sees for 2023. And he said that he wanted to finish. He wanted to finish whatever he started, whatever he put his mind to, whatever he hoped for. Those are the things that I have now been reflecting on. What haven't I finished that I need to now here in 2023? So that is my plan. That is my goal. Not only am I going to start these new things and these amazing dreams and hopes that I have, I'm going to finish them. So I hope you guys out there are doing the same thing. Go out there and just begin a new journey, begin a new path, something that you're passionate about. Try to change the trajectory of your life by doing something different. And trust me, it will definitely serve you well. So again, it's all about change, all about being better. 2023 is about growth and evolving. And so I hope that you're also putting people, places, and things in place to make sure that that happens for you. So other than that, this week was kind of chill. I didn't go anywhere, really. I didn't, participate in any events or activities. But I did share in conversations with people all week. I did a lot of catching up for the first of the year, and as well as some planning. I had some conversations conversations about the projects that I'll be working on with the partnerships that I've developed. And one of them is previous guests I've had on the show, Miss Jane Lynch and Jamel Hudson, who came to the show from the Poor People's Campaign. So she was sharing with me what they are doing. And unfortunately, I won't be able to attend this event this weekend, but I do want to discuss it and what the Poor People's Campaign is doing. So this week in Unity in the Community, we're going to be discussing the Poor People's Campaign. Now, they do not want the government officials to ignore the realities most New Yorkers and its communities are experiencing right now. So the New York Poor People's Campaign is creating a Poor People's State of the State report, which will prove through research and data that the true impact of poverty in and our communities still exist. So they will be amplifying this report and they want your help. So on January 9th, from what I understand, they will be releasing it. And then on the 15th, they're going to be hosting an event on Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. This event will be in response to Governor Hochul's State of the Union or State of the State address and will amplify the voices of the poor and dispossessed. Yes. The Long Island event will be on January 15th from 3:30 to 5 p.m. at Our Lady of the Miraculous Metal Church in Wyandanch. The event will also be live streamed. So I believe that you have to follow them on Facebook to get more information. I do not have the link at this moment. But again, please, I would love for you guys to participate. Unfortunately, I won't be here, but it is an important event and it's going to be highlighting things going on in our communities and also, what you can do to join in the fight. So please take the opportunity if you can do so. So lately, as I mentioned, I'm always about giving back, sharing and serving, and also speaking to people who are just rooted in such love and such compassion for others. And, I can't disappoint you by not introducing you to another young lady who has experienced some tragedies in her life, but was able to overcome them with the grace of God, obviously, and just her drive and her passion to uncover her purpose and to shine her light on others, because what she went through made her realize that she was here for a greater purpose. So this week, we're going to be discussing just basically how we can be a light and share that light with others. So the title of the show is The Light of Life. And we're going to be discussing that with my beautiful guest, Yaa Nsafoah. And she is a medical health professional and the founder of Quasis Helping Hands, and an organization focused on helping those experiencing hard times by being a support and encouragement to them as they navigate the challenging journey. The organization is named after Yaa's son, Quasi, who passed away years after the medical professional's diagnosis. The doctors realized his life was truly in God's hands. When Yaa started her career in human services, caring for those with special needs and understanding what they required, she had no idea she would become a parent of a special needs child. Her work provided her with a deep sense of compassion, which compels her to be a helping hand to anyone in need. Although Yaa was completely heartbroken and in disbelief about Quasi's passing, she is glad the Heavenly Father gave her the opportunity to love Quasi, meet Quasi, and learn from Quasi. Through tragedy comes a purpose, and Yaa believes her purpose is to continue the light of life by helping others and showing them not to take the simple things in life for granted. She is here to share why we can all be the light of light. Welcome, my friend, Yaa. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm taking day by day. I'm good.
I love that. I love
good.
that. Well, I want to welcome you to the You Are Unity show. Again, we met too long ago, and I love your story. You're from Brooklyn, which I failed to mention.
Yes.
Parents are Guyanese.
No, my father's from Ghana.
Okay.
And my mother's from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Wow.
Right.
That's interesting.
Right.
Oh my
This story
God.
is so funny to me, but yes.
Yes, that's so cool though. So have you ever been to Arkansas?
I've been down south. I've never been to Little Rock.
Okay.
I've been as far as Atlanta. That's
Okay.
it. But and Ghana is my first trip in March around our birthday, my father and I's birthday.
That is so fascinating. Well, I see that you have just a very different name. And I want you to tell us a little about that. What is the meaning of it?
So Yaa is Ghanaian. It means baby girl born on Thursday, which I was born on Thursday.
Okay.
My last name is Nsafoah,
Okay.
which means key holder to the palace.
I love it.
And our last name is a sense of royalty in Ghana. So, of course, it only makes sense.
I love that. Obviously, your father knew. He knew immediately when you were born.
And I was born on his birthday. So I am also a man's gift.
I love
just throw that real
I'm
quick.
just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
I am my daddy's gift. I hear that. Well, I do. I love that. And I do. I feel that in your name, in what he saw in you from the moment you were born, was setting the stage for who you would become. And I think that's lovely. It really is so cool. So, I mean, real quick then, I mean, considering your parents are from vast parts, I mean, such different backgrounds, what was it like growing up?
So if you know about a Southern background, the Southern discipline, the Ghanaian discipline of African discipline, to get away with anything was not possible.
Oh, wow.
But me being who I am, I was able to kind of work my way through to see to kind of get over.
Right.
But it bit me at the end and the parents won.
Oh, wow.
Let's just say parents won.
Oh, well, do you have any siblings? Or
I have two brothers, one older than me, and I have a younger brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was it growing up being the only girl?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm the only girl. I have no female cousins.
Right.
I have no sisters.
Right.
So it's just me. So
wow.
I am daddy's little girl. I am the uncle's favorite niece and everybody's favorite. So
and just spoiled, right?
But I brought in the daughters.
Okay.
Plus my son. So
all right. I love that. I love that. Well, again, I mean, I know and mentioned that you are in the mental health field. What inspired you to get into that field?
Well, I guess I stumbled into it.
Okay.
So when I initially started my journey, when I was in my 20s, I wanted to be a parole officer, actually a cop, but I wanted to be a parole officer. I knew I had to go to school to become a parole officer. During that time, someone told me about a job as a DSP.
Okay.
Which is called a direct support professional.
Okay.
And they told me that only thing you have to do, wipe a few noses, wipe a few fines, and that's good. Not really understanding what the job entailed. Right. Getting into it, then I realized it's a lot more. Right. It's more a lot involved. More involved. Speaking to the families, speaking to helping people learn, teaching everyone. But I was young. Right. So I kind of took it for granted, but at the same time I learned. Right. But not realizing over time, it actually helped me to prepare for my future. Oh, wow. Which I was not aware of. Well, exactly. So, well, I mean, as a child, did you have sort of this compassion for others and this desire I wanted to be a cop? You really did? I really wanted to be a cop. Oh, wow. And did. What in being a cop, what was... It was, I like the action. Really? It was the action for me. It was the action. I mean, I am an Aries, and we are headstrong, and we love the action. Right. So it was all about the action for me. And my mother used to watch a lot of cop shows. No way. So I thought I was going to be that very cool chick cop. That's what I wanted to be initially. Right. And you got led into this direction. I got led into this. So, I mean, now that you're in it, like, how do you like it? Did you enjoy, working with these, people that I'm sure had, struggles and challenges? I did. You did. It made me realize that it's something more important than me. Right. Things that I do day to day, I felt really good helping others. Right. Actually helping them achieve where I'm already at. I see what you're saying. So I'm saying, it was a good experience. Definitely a great experience. I love that. And that's why now anyone that gets into the field, I express to them, come in with your heart. Do not come in thinking to get rich, because it's not about that. Right. So no, it does. It takes a special kind of person to do that, because again, like you mentioned, you're, in some instances, wiping butts and noses and taking care of these
at times very grown people,
Yes.
like they're your little children.
Right.
So
exactly.
it takes a special type of person to actually have the heart to do that and not do it with, you know, any type of chip on their shoulder and animosity or anything.
But there's a few that get in.
Wow.
There's a few that slip in, and we do have circumstances for them, but it's a few.
Yeah, well, then don't get into the field then. If you know you're going to be that person, my thing is
they don't
get
realize
into the
it
field.
until they get into it.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's not for everyone.
It's not. It's really, really not. Well, I understand, and I mentioned earlier, you know, you had a son, Kwesi, which he is the reason for Kwesi Helping Hands.
Yes.
Tell us a little about, you know, that story, your story with your son and how he was born.
So I literally call him an angel on earth. No one cannot tell me that God did not put an angel literally on earth.
Yeah.
When he was born, they literally had to put him back together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Wow.
His limbs, everything was detached from each other. He wasn't able. The doctors did not have confidence that he would survive 24 hours.
Right.
When he was born, they didn't want me to see him.
Right.
I said, no, I need to see my son.
Right.
I saw him and he had one eye and he looked at me. And the look that he gave me was, I'll be back.
Wow.
So I saw the mommy-son connection.
Yes.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And they was like, you know, his father's crying. You know, it's going to be, save your prayers and all of this now.
Right.
24 hours passed. Kwesi was still here. Wow. Kwesi was holding on strong. Kwesi was going through everything he was going through, but he was still here.
Right.
The doctors then gave him 5 years. During that journey from birth to 5 years, he had cardiac arrest. He had seizures. He ended up getting a trach. He wasn't able to eat via regular his mouth.
Right.
He had to go. Oh, sorry. He had to get a G tube. So, and he was on a machine.
Right.
During that time, doctors couldn't diagnose him. Genetic doctors tried. No one knew what he was diagnosed with.
Really?
So he really had no diagnosis.
And you didn't know prior to him being born that there would be issues with the pregnancy?
That's the thing. I guess because of the age I was, but it wasn't a reason for them to give me a test.
Okay.
But the doctors did.
Right.
And amnio, I can never say it, amniocentesis. There you go. They stuck the needle in. In the frame, I saw him running.
Right.
Once the needle touched him, he ran. Poked a hole in the bag. All the water in the bag. All the water got in and pressed down.
Oh, wow.
In the bag. So that's what happened. What caused me to go in early.
Right.
So during that time, they said the test was fine. It was negative, no issues.
Fine.
But to then find out later, there was an issue because the needle bust the bag.
That is, oh my God, horrendous. I'm just shocked about that. And the fact that you said that he came out like in pieces, you know, and that they had to literally fuse him back together.
Yes.
How did you deal with that, accept that, especially this is your first child?
My first son.
Your first son, yes.
But I've already had 3 daughters prior.
Okay.
So my first son, and the thing is, I tell people, be careful what you ask for. Because when you ask the Father for something, he's going to give you what you ask for. And he's going to see if you really want it.
Yeah.
So I said, Father, I don't care what you do. I don't care how you give him to me. Give me my son.
Yeah.
He gave him to me.
Yeah.
I said, you know, I can't complain.
Yeah.
He knew I was ready for what he had in store for me because he had already prepared me.
Right.
I didn't realize he prepared me, but he prepared me.
Yeah.
He prepared me.
Yeah, well, that's what I want to know. Like before you knew you were prepared, because it takes a while to get there, especially when you're going through all of that. And I know, you know, I've had other guests on the show who, you know, have experienced, you know, issues in their children with special needs. And you question like the why me, you know, I prayed for him. I wanted him.
I prayed for him.
Did you ever go through that moment?
I never went through the why me.
That's great.
I'm not a person that asks why me when I know God already has a plan.
I love that.
So my first thing is, okay, is never why me, is okay, what's the plan?
Right.
There's a plan in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And you gave him to me. You put me in this field that I wasn't expecting to be in. And now I see. So when he was born, And for the first 5 years going through what he was going through, I was also an assistant manager at that time for residents with disabled adults.
Right.
So at the same time, taking care of my son that had a disability, I was going to work.
Wow.
Also overseeing individuals with disabilities and everything else.
Right.
So I was doing it on both ends,
Right.
at home and at work.
Nice.
So seeing it, going through it, never questioning, but just accepting it.
Right.
That's how, then I realized over the time, I get it.
Yeah, I love that.
I get it.
Well, let me ask you in terms of his care. I mean, did you have a choice to put him into a facility?
I did.
And you chose,
I chose not
and
to.
you wanted him to be home.
Yes.
I love that. I think we have a couple of pictures of Kwesi. How was that? I mean, you're literally working 24 hours a day, doing the same job 7 days a week,
7 days a week,
365 days a year. That is a lot.
So
how are you maintaining your sanity? Because again, we always talking about self-care and taking care of yourself here is our unity. So how was that?
It was a journey. It was a lot of difficult situations that kind of dealt with the mental health part of it. But what kept me sane was knowing that I had a purpose.
Right.
And looking at him every day, watching him eat chocolate.
Yeah.
Being that he was not a child that was able to make a sound, or he wasn't able to talk, he wasn't able to do what normal kids did. His expressions alone, and he always had the Elvis lip.
Right.
So whenever I said something that he would like, he would give me the Elvis lip. So that's what made my day.
Right.
That's what got me through each day, because I look forward to the Elvis lip.
Right. I see what you're saying. I love that. Did you ever get exhausted? Considering you now have to care for other patients now, and in addition to it, so you just kept mustering through it. I hear that.
Just kept going. There was no reason for me to get tired.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's the day I get tired is the day I die.
Oh, I like that. Exactly.
As long as I'm able to wake up and stretch, I'm not tired.
You know what? I really love your attitude, and a lot of people, I want you to see this, because I'm only saying that because I do. It's not even that you're saying it, but I feel it. Like, I feel that that's who you are and how you are under any circumstances, and with regardless of what the challenge is. And I think that you're always going to push forward and always look for, the way that I'm supposed to get out of this, and what lesson am I supposed to learn from it. So what was your support system like, during, the time that you're caring for your son, as well as, still going to work and caring for
Looking
others?
at my daughters.
Really?
Knowing that they're watching me do this. Knowing that my daughters, my parents, and the Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
That's really who I had to push me.
Yeah. And sometimes really that's all you need.
Yep, that's it.
The family there to just be there to support you in anything, and take up the slack when needed,
Nobody took up the slack. It was
That's
24 hours. It was
really
all the time.
Get
all the time.
out of here.
No slack taken.
So you were talking about like the little milestones that he was making, and the way you felt when he, did something that, was trying to speak to you, talk to you.
Every time if I leaned over to him and I'll say, Kwesi, how was your day? He'll either roll his eyes up, he'll look at me, give me the lip, the little Elvis grin, or he'll try to lift his arms up. And this was how he used to do his arms.
Wow.
So when he would lift his arms up and shake it, that means he was happy. And then I would smooch him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, my little booby. That's my booby.
Oh my God. So what was the thoughts of the doctors when your son sort of surpassed their expiration date?
5 years old, they said, well, we're not giving him. First, they said, well, we're not giving him until 5. When 5-year-old came around, they said, well, we're leaving it up to God now.
Yeah.
My comment to them, well, you should have left it up to him from the day he was born.
From the beginning. That's right.
So here you go telling me that he's going to live a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
But he actually lived until he was 7.
Right.
7 is the number of completion.
Yes, it is.
Which means that he was here. He did his job.
Yeah.
He completed his journey.
Yeah.
He taught me what I needed to learn. And then he got his wings and left.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is about it, though.
Right.
When he passed away the same day he was born. He was born on a Sunday around 8 8 p.m., he passed away around the same time.
Wow.
When I got the call that he was on his way to the hospital because something was wrong, he literally waited for me to get there. Wow. And I want to say that because as I was frantic when I got the call, I was coming from Queens.
Right.
Every light was green, making me go straight there. So I got there, got to the hospital. He looked at me. I looked at him. Gave me one last breath, one little grin, one last breath, and that was it. Wow. When they did the autopsy took about 1.5 years because they could not find out what was wrong with him. Right. They asked me, "You sure your son was disabled?" I said, "Well, I was there when he was born. I think I do know this for the first 7 years of his life." Right. Neurologists came from Switzerland, across the country, across the pond. Could not find anything wrong. They said, well, his brain was a normal child. Wow. Everything about him was normal. So the woman that did the autopsy, she said to me, I've seen many deaths. This is the one death that made me realize faith in God is real. Yes, yes. Because she said, I literally met an angel on earth. I love it. I met his body. I love it. So I said, that. So there you go. Yeah. That was confirmation.
That's confirmation because I know when they put an expiration, his prognosis is he's only going to live till this date or this time. How did that make you feel? Was it you going in harder on your prayer and your faith, or you just didn't even question it?
I didn't.
You never even think about it. Really?
He literally stopped like a battery. And that's what she said to me.
Really?
Like a battery. So a battery has an expectation. That was his.
And that was it.
Yep, that was his. So
his energy just depleted. Isn't that something?
I cried. But
no, of course.
I cried because when I cried out of joy, sadness, a little confused, but I knew it was a purpose.
Yeah, no, so. I get it. What did you see that you gained? I think we have a couple of pictures of Kwesi. I would love to show that because he's beautiful. And you're so right. He was definitely an angel here on earth.
Yes,
and this young man taught his mother something. So I want to know what you started noticing in the beginning of your growth, your change. Like, take us through that real quick and do it slowly. I'm serious because I want your attitude after I leave here, lady.
So it's kind of hard to explain. It's one of those have to be in the moment to see. But if I have to describe it, it was one of those, I guess, aha moments. I guess it's that type of feeling like, oh, okay, I never noticed that everything that I can do, he can't do. Oh, I want to take him to the park. I can't take him to the park.
Right.
If I take him to the park, and when I did take him to the park, I have to attach all these machines.
Right.
Let's look out the window. Other kids are running around. No machines. Parents are neglecting their kids, doing everything under the sun against their children. Here it is. I have a little boy that solely needs me.
Right.
That needs everything that I can muster up to make sure every day of his life, the quality of life is amazing.
Right.
So what he taught me and what I realized, and also looking at my daughters, never take a breath, a second, an hour for granted.
Right. Right.
So that's what, but see, I'm like one of those oil machines that if I don't get rusty, I just keep going.
Yeah.
So it's just with the faith, that's it. I don't have to think twice. I don't have to guess. I just go, just flow.
Your faith is really, really strong then, and I don't know, what challenges you have experienced or obstacles you experienced as a child that gave you that power that you have, unless your father and your mom just instilled that.
Yes.
Get up, girl. You're going to be all right. It's going to be another day. Like these things that just encourage you and inspire you and also let you know that you have no excuse, to keep moving. You didn't feel any pressure at all as you were experiencing everything. And especially with, expectation. Did you have expectation of what, the moment of you being a mom to him would be?
No. Really? People never believe me when I say it, but no.
Wow.
Because my whole thing was from the moment he gave me that look, from the very first day me and him made eye contact, I was told and reassured, don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Everything that you need, you will get. Don't worry about it. He's going to do what he needs to do. I just need you to love him and take care of him. I said, okay.
And that's what you did.
That's it.
And you know what? I love that you said that you had no idea you were going to be in this field. And I honestly believe that because you are in this field, you were able to handle that and maintain that so well.
He trained me.
That's what it was.
He trained me.
He trained you for that moment and he didn't let you get tired. You know what I mean? And I think that's really, really important. And I think that it's beautiful as well, because you could have felt buried. You could have felt suffocated. You could have felt like there was no relief anywhere.
Well, I will say this though, during that time, even though I kept my mind clear when it came to caring for him, the devil did throw obstacles my way.
Right.
He did.
Yeah.
He threw some obstacles my way,
I
but
believe it.
I must have threw them.
Well, tell me what would you, share? What would you suggest others do in order to be able to have that mindset, that regardless of what's going on, just have the faith. It's hard. It is really hard.
It's hard. But a lot of people say that they have faith. Your faith is really tested by how you feel from day to day. If you just always remember, once you open your eyes and you are looking up, because that's the first thing you do, either you look to your left, depending on how you're laying, you opened your eyes.
Right.
At that point, nothing else matters. You can carry on with your day because that means that God already had that plan for you.
Right.
So don't stress. I do not look my age because I do not stress.
Right.
Okay. I do not let the world stress me, and I know God got me. So this is proof.
I'm gonna hold on to my youth. That's right.
This is proof.
I love it. I am not gonna let the world or anything else take me down. I really love that, and I love the fact that you also said that once you wake up in the morning, the hardest part is over. The hardest part is over.
It's over.
It's over, because everything else after that is your choice to make also, and just the lessons that you can learn from whatever problems or bad things that happen.
This is what I tell people also. Your life is a book that God already wrote. So when you are going through your chapters, which are your ages, that is the chapter of your book.
Right.
When that chapter comes to an end, which is a new birthday, that means he wrote something else for you to do.
Right.
If he puts something in your path, never ask why. Just ask, how do I accomplish it?
Yes.
There's a reason why you put it here.
Yeah.
So everything that you worked on prior to that moment, before you ask why, think about where you were before you got there.
Yes.
Because whatever you did or whatever he had planned to get you there is what he was working on when you got there. So don't question it.
Yeah.
Don't question it.
No, I get that.
That's like your mother taking your hand and walking you to the park.
Yeah.
You trust your mother when you cross the street. Hold her hand, walk across the street. She got you safely.
Yeah.
Take the hand of the Father through life. He already has you.
Yeah.
He has the plan.
He's already prepared you.
So when you stress yourself,
you're going against the actual
He's
principle.
like, listen, I'm gonna let you stress yourself, but that's all right. Your chapter is not over.
Exactly.
I still have a plan for you. Don't push it.
I feel that actually just hinders us, and it also causes what we are needing and wanting and hoping for to take that much longer.
Yep.
Because of our opposition against it, and because of us trying to control everything, and also having feelings, that obviously you're allowed to feel your feelings, but not staying stuck in them.
Never.
And unfortunately, a lot of us do that as well. So I'm so glad that you did not let your circumstances define who you are as a person, and that you were able to move forward. And I understand also with the desire to help others. So Quasis, lived the beautiful 7 years that he was here, and he helped develop this person who found her passion and her gift. And how did that begin you journeying into creating Quasis Helping Hands?
So one hand helps the other. The one hand washes the face.
Right.
So with that being that, like, I knew he helped me get through day to day and help me appreciate life. I felt that it was only right to be Quasey's helper and to continue to pass on what he taught me. He taught me to appreciate life. Never take things for granted that God has blessed you with. So if I have to help you realize your gift or realize the blessing, let me help you. Let's start with something basic. Hygiene. A lot of people take it for granted. A lot of people cannot get the things they need for hygiene. We put care bags together to give to families, to homeless, to whomever. You don't even have to be homeless or under. Anyone who needs a care bag is where the care bag comes in. That's how I started the journey. I also do events for mothers. I did a mother to mother event, giving a mother a day of pampering. Let a mother understand it's okay. There's a place where you can let your hair down and look cute. It's okay. I did a father to father event. Also acknowledging the fathers and the roles that they play, because fathers also have to deal with challenging situations when raising a child with special needs. But my overall end game is to eventually get a location where my organization is an actual agency caring for families with children with disabilities, like I do currently. But the only difference is I'm going to give the families that first year of a child's life the support that I received when he was born. So if you need a machine or some type of machine, if you need mental health counseling, we counsel you. We help you deal with
support groups.
Right there, you go.
Yes, I love it.
And I also do Safe Space Saturdays, which I am going to jump back in because that is a safe place with no judgment for you to express your mind, mental health. And I believe that if you deal with a person's mental health first, everything else will come easy.
No, I totally agree with that. I do. And, you speaking of the fact that, you're giving back and you're starting with, a person's hygiene. You're starting off with those little things that people take for granted. I think that's so important because we do, you don't think some items that, we probably have a million of them in our medicine cabinet and in our bathroom that someone out there is in need of. So I love the fact that you thought about that. Now, when did it, click? When did the light bulb go off that this is what I'm supposed to do? Was it before or after Quasey passed? Okay, so
it was, I want to say, a year after he passed.
Okay.
Because I had to kind of understand what the journey was. I had to play it back to myself. Everything that he went through, everything that I went through with him, to kind of understand, okay, I know there was a purpose, but what was the purpose?
No.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
So it took a year for me to really think about what it was I needed to do, not what I wanted to do, what I needed to do. So it took a year. So I mean, I'm still sort of in. I personally feel I'm still in my beginning phases, but I'm doing a little bit more, but a little bit more still is a lot more for someone else.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. So. And let me tell you something, touching one person is enough. That right there is a huge help to someone. That helping hand that you wanted to lend. And they were in need and ready to receive it. So one person, and then that person shares what you're doing, that shares that with the next person, and someone sees what you're doing. It's all about steps. And it's all about, as you mentioned, God's timing, you know? So what I've seen so far, you're really doing a great job. I love, your merchandise. I love the workshops that you've been putting together, and especially the conversations that you've been having with the people on the conference call. I think that's really important because it helps them kind of dig deeper into themselves, you know? And it also shows them that you guys are out there really supporting them in what is going on in their mind, and I didn't think anyone else would be able to understand. So tell me, did you have that kind of support when you were going through it? I mean, were there people that you can have a conversation with? Were you in a support group? Did you take advantage of that?
I was not. That's what made me think about doing it.
Oh, wow.
I had to be my own support group along with my children. I was that for me.
You didn't have anyone that you could just
No.
pour out everything that you was going through.
No.
Really?
Nope.
Wow. So I guess the understanding of it was I see it at my job. So you understand it from that perspective. You really didn't need to sort of commiserate with anyone about what the challenges were.
Right. I knew the challenges, like I said, like you said, from my job, also seeing it firsthand at home.
Right.
So
wow.
And there was no one that I could take a break from. So that's what also made me realize a mother or someone else is going through the same thing I'm going through.
Right.
They're going to need a break.
Yeah.
I was able to balance myself and I have that own personal strength.
Right.
But there's someone who might not have that strength.
True.
So they might need that little helping hand to bring them into that balance.
No, I love
and
that.
I also, so basically at the end of KH is actually acronym KHH, One of Us. The One of Us came about because I had to let people know you're no different than the person you're standing next to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I am you, you are me, we are one of us.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just be the light of life, my girl. And that's what I loved about what you said in your bio, that you realize that you have to share the light of life with others. And that's really what your mission is just to show kindness, to give back, to love on those in need, to be of service in any capacity. And more importantly, is just to give of your heart.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, it takes, and I mentioned it earlier, a special kind of heart to care for someone else's child in the manner that you do, you know?
Yes.
And then to know that you were going home to do the same for your own child.
Yes.
I just find that to be amazing. I admire that. I truly do. I didn't want to change my daughter's diaper and, you know, please, you know, so I am so impressed that you have no problem going to work every day and helping these people that need you. That is something.
And I currently do it now.
Yeah.
I'm actually a program coordinator.
That is amazing.
Trying to be a
so
director.
Serious. That's awesome. So again, he's inspired so much in you. You know, and I know that you're out there helping. What kind of conversations are you having, like in your workshops, in these con calls?
I usually start with the mental health.
Okay.
Because I realize you have to deal with the mental first. Because a lot of people are coming to terms with their mental health. Yeah. And because now it's turning into something more, and a lot of people are reacting, and there's a lot of deaths, suicides. I speak to people to say, let me know who you are by what you feel.
Right.
Don't be afraid. No judgment. Speak about that first, and then I know how to help you.
Yeah.
So once they say what the issues are as a parent with the mother-to-mother event, what are your issues as a mother that you feel are overwhelming? Right. A lot of the biggest things is postpartum.
Right.
A lot of people overlook postpartum.
Right.
And with fathers, I ask them the same questions.
Really? What's their biggest problem?
Their biggest problem is working with the mothers when they seem overwhelmed or stressed. I had to introduce postpartum to the fathers to help them understand it.
Really?
So a lot of them was like, you know, we never thought about that. I said, well, postpartum is real.
Yes, exactly.
It is completely real. It's not a mental illness.
Exactly.
It is emotions of hormones and balance coming together. So when you feel like the mother of your child is biting your head off, or she's going through what you feel her monthly menstrual, no, it's postpartum.
It's postpartum.
And it can last for a very long time.
Wow.
So that's what I deal with first.
Okay. So,
as I learned over time.
Right. I see what you're saying. What are, the participants saying about the con call, the gathering of people sharing their story?
Well, one woman actually cried when she came, because she came to the event with the hopes of bringing her friend, but her friend couldn't make it.
Okay.
So she cried. She was happy, overly joyed that someone actually stopped to think about someone like her.
Right. Yeah.
So just that alone.
Yeah.
Trumps everything.
It does. It really does. And it should make your heart feel good that, you touch someone in that way, So, speaking to everyone on this call, are they all going through challenges in dealing with children with disabilities?
Not only children with disabilities, but with their own children.
Okay. Wow.
So I open the floor to let people realize the theme of one of us.
Right.
We are all going through the same thing.
Yeah.
It just might be a different flavor on it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still the same thing.
It's still the same
different
thing.
little seasoning, but it's still the same. So you have different ways where you address it, where you deal with it. So I always let them understand, although you're going through this, this one is going through the same thing, similar but different.
Right.
But let her know how you got to point A.
Right.
So she can at least make it to point A, and she can teach you how she made it to point B.
Yeah.
Although she skipped point A.
Right.
So it helps. Everyone helps connect the dots with each other through their conversations. They realize they are equal.
Yeah.
They realize they all go through the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they just do it in different stages, in different ways. I really like that as well, because it's important to share your truth with people and what you're going through and experiencing. A lot of people try to hold it in. Obviously, we want to appear to be these strong people. We want to appear to have all the answers, and
never do that.
And it's not good. It's not good for your mental health, and it's not good for your physical health as well. So to have someone that you could just share what's going on inside and what your thoughts are. And, also if you could guide me to some type of resource or tools, I think is really, really good. And I'm glad that, atmosphere allowed that to actually take place. So that's good. I'm glad that you're talking to the men too, because I'm shocked that they really didn't think postpartum was real. That's interesting.
But
then they also
speak about their depression as well.
Okay, good.
And it's very important,
right?
Because a lot of women do not recognize the men that are mothers and fathers. Right. And
so, what they're going through as well. And again, because the men are always supposed to be so strong, and they're not emotional half the time. A lot of men are not emotional. And so therefore they're not going to show you when they're weak and they need help.
And we tell them it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
A person is stronger when they show their true self.
Yeah.
So if you're vulnerable, it's fine.
Yeah.
You're showing that you're human. If you work so hard to not show what is going on, you destroy yourself.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And you're not being your true self.
Exactly. You're not being authentic. And unfortunately, people won't know who to connect with, if you're not your true your true self. So I agree with that. So very helpful for the people in the group. What about for you? What is, this new journey? What is it doing for you?
It just keeps reminding me that what I'm doing is exactly what I was supposed to do. It fills me. It gives me joy. It makes me feel like, okay. See, someone else came together, bringing other people together. It's a feeling I really can't really explain. It's hard to explain it. Because again, like I said,
fulfilled.
Yeah, I do.
And I think that's the key word. I think it's nothing else to really describe other than you feel fulfilled. You feel like this was my purpose. This was my path. Anything else that happens from here is just extra. It's just the gravy, so to speak. I love that. You are not going to stop. So what are your plans? What are your hopes and expectations for Kwesi's Helping Hand?
Kwesi's Helping Hand. So to hope that we reach as many people and bring some type of light and confidence in their self and their abilities to guide through life.
Right.
Basically, to not take anything for granted, appreciate what you have. Do not pay attention to social media as far as TikTok, Instagram, because it shows you the skies with the filters.
Right.
I just want to show you life without the filter.
Right.
And it's okay to embrace it.
Yeah.
That's what my journey is. Let me help you embrace.
Right. Well, you keep saying you want to show, how we do not take life for granted. I know there were steps to that you had to take to get there. I know it wasn't overnight. So what did you do? How did you recognize it?
So again, everything was recognized through my son. I had to bathe him. I can bathe myself. I had to get him dressed. I can dress myself. I had to set up his machine to feed him. I can feed myself.
Right.
Everything that I had to do for my son, or I had to do for my individuals that I serve, I can do effortlessly.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what made me realize, and it added on every day. Well, I can do I can tie my shoe.
Right.
I can leave and do what I want.
Yes.
I can go and come as I please.
Yes.
If I decide to ride a bike and fall off, I can do that.
Right.
My individuals, my son was not able to do that. He was not able to run outside.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't able to jump over the jungle gym.
Right.
But I'm able to.
Right.
So that's kind of what the motivation was.
Right.
Seeing that he wasn't able to do everything that we do on a day-to-day.
Right.
And watching how people take for granted their movements.
Yeah.
You're taking for granted
your existence, your life, the fact that you're still here.
You're
doing
pushing
these
people
things.
that's in your. Why are you pushing people out your way that cannot?
Yeah.
So, and I started recognizing that when I see people more or less abuse people who cannot, people in wheelchairs. Mm-hmm. You're pushing them out your way. You're rushing them. Yeah. Why are you rushing them? That could be you in the wheelchair.
Exactly. And you don't know their circumstance. And it's so true. Mm-hmm. You need to put yourself in other people's places sometimes.
You have to.
You really, really do. And I think that's a key component to not taking things for granted, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, especially when you know that they are dealing with obstacles, hardships, and disabilities. Like, you never know. And I'm sure, to a large degree, that they wish they were in your shoes as well. And so don't take life for granted.
There's people that have had motorcycle accidents that I'm currently caring for in my agency that were not born disabled, but had an accident, and now he's disabled for life.
Wow.
Brain, everything,
and knew what it was like
and
to have everything. Like. Yeah.
So to see him and put the tear come down his face, because he knew what his life was like before.
Yeah, I love that, Yaa. So. I'm so serious. I want to thank you so much for being here, my friend. You are amazing. Your story is so powerful. In addition to the fact that you're helping others. And I think that was already in you. And Kwesi just brought it out full throttle. And now that's what God put in you, is for you to be a help to others in need. And I love that. So,
and I'm trying to take it to Africa on my birthday.
Well, you will, girl. I have no doubt in my mind. So we're going to put up your information on where we can see you. Beautiful picture. So your website and your Instagram is at Kwesi's Helping Hands, correct? So please, guys, go out there and follow her. And again, we will be having you back because I want to know about all the wonderful things that you have going on.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to get real quick to the Dare to Be You. No, you're seeing right here. Come. Okay. So the Dare to Be You is: happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. And that's exactly what our guest did. In the darkest of times, when others would have faltered, when others would have just tried to hide from everything that was going on in their world, this woman faced it head on, and she basically took the bulls by the horn and raised her beautiful son as long as she possibly could. You know what I mean? Far past what the doctors actually stated that he was going to be here. So I love that fact. I love that you have that get up and go attitude. I love that you have that perseverance. And most importantly, I'm glad that you don't take things for granted.
I do not.
She is the light of life, my friend, the light of life. So we want you all to go out there and be the light of life, right?
Every helper is a great helper, can always teach someone.
Exactly. How do you do that? We got like a minute. How do you become the light of light, this person that you've become?
Just being nice. Saying hello. Start with hello. How are you feeling? Simple words like that will give people, oh, you care. Be surprised.
No,
that one hello will make a person's day.
No, trust me. I say that all the time. And it really does. Waking up in the morning with expectations of a great day and then going about it like you know that it's already beautiful. Even though it hasn't ended, you're still even though it hasn't ended, you're still looking forward to a great day. So I agree with you. I think it is all about being kind to people, being compassionate. And as she mentioned earlier, I mean, that's what we need right now in this world. And we need to put ourselves in other people's shoes and see how they're living in their circumstances. And especially if we're living that much better, then we can be of assistance to others.
Definitely.
You know, and I'm glad that you had the support of your family. I'm glad that you know, you're still helping so many out there within your job. I know, you know, you took a while to get, you know, you took the time to be here because she's all the way from Brooklyn, ladies and gentlemen. But you took the time to be here to share your story. So I really wish the organization well.
Thank you.
And again, we're going to be partnering up for some events and workshops and things like that. So I'm so looking forward to that.
Thank you.
I really am. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Your Our Unity. It's all about being the light of life. I hope you guys are taking advantage of it. Shine your marvelous light so bright that it blinds the world. I want you to have a wonderful evening. Remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. Let's go out there and be some love, give some love, and share some love. We will see you next week on Your Our Unity. But in the meantime, I love you. And we're going to say good night.
Good night.
Strong Island Entertainment.